When you look back at history, it's the boy child who built the world. It's the men who built this world. The whole world has thrown away the whole reason that all these women and girl rights exist. The ones who toiled to build the system, infrastructure, and technology. Even the church itself can barely support boys.
The girl child empowerment has to do with the abuse of power that also ultimately came from the man. Babe, look, we are not entirely saying that men did not support, but let's also not put it like the men are the one who began the whole movement.
There's scholarships for the boy child and non-existent.
Welcome to today's episode in which we are looking at the boy child. So maybe just to kind of bring an introduction to the topic of why we're looking at the boy child versus the world. First of all, I want to take us back with the girl child empowerment, or by beginning looking at the women's rights movement. So we are aware, of course, that in the past, women were not allowed to do practically almost everything apart from anything that has to do with the household or the domestic chores. So now in 1843, we had a lady by the name of Elizabeth Stanton, who with her friends sat down, having a tea, and they were just discussing how, they felt that the women's rights have so much been infringed by the men, because women, especially in those days, were not allowed to do a lot of things such as education, voting, owning even property. So this lady called Elizabeth Stanton with other three ladies sat down, and from there is where now we are having the lady or the girl child empowerment coming in, that is in the 1900, and of course now organization coming through to support the girl child. So you find that UNICEF, UNESCO, we've got the World Bank, the Plan International, CAMFED. Even in Africa, we've got the African Union, African Development Bank. All these organizations are supporting a girl child. Now, what are they supporting her for? Of course, they are ensuring that she's going to school, so that of course she can support and give a voice to this particular world. Now, along the whole process of trying to help the girl child, I think what we've noticed is that there is one thing that has come up, that is the boy child has been left behind.
Abandoned.
That's why abundant, yes, that's the word. So the boy child has been left to face the world alone, hence us giving it the topic, boy child versus the world. So with that introduction, Mr. Muma, I just have probably for you to just come in and define how the boy child has been neglected. How will you define that, just in simple words?
Well, I can't really just jump in and say how it has been neglected when you started with that history. I also have to start with that history.
Okay.
First and foremost, I like when people just jump in and say, oh, hey, girl child, girl empowerment, what. When you look back at history, it's the boy child who built the world. It's the men who built this world. There is a reason all these issues of women's rights popped up when the world became safer. Because less than 100 years ago, the world was not safe for women. And what I'm talking about just like, let's start basic. Wild animals, unsanitary environments, dangerous environments, mudslides, earthquakes, and all of these things. And also there's that part when women are pregnant or when they have a young child. All of that time when the world was not safe, the one who took the full responsibility to build systems, technology, and infrastructure to protect the woman and the girl child was the man or the boy child. All that time, the one who went to hunt, kill, fight animals, fight. In fact, even defend your own people from other vicious men. It was the boy child. There, we can give practical examples where women don't have all those rights. We can talk about Muslim countries and all of that. However, it's funny when with the moment men worked so hard to build systems, technology, infrastructure, laws that protected women, then women empowerment came in, and it started for very good reasons. But as it has gone, the whole world has thrown away the whole reason that all these women and girl rights exist. The ones who toiled to build the system, infrastructure, and technology has been forgotten, because now the world is so comfortable that women are going to work, are going to school, are going to shani like this. That we've created that environment that is so comfortable for women, such that now the owner, the person who created this, the one who toiled, the ones who died in wars so that women can have what they have now, have been thrown away.
Yeah, yeah.
Completely forgotten. There is no infrastructure that supports boys. There is no NGO that supports boys. Even the church itself can barely support boys. There are no government statutes that support boys. There are no policies that support boys. I can't remember the last time here in Zambia where we set up a law. Say this law is supposed to make sure that the boy child is taken care of. And yet society wants to demand this high standard of man, this godly man. You will never have that man if you neglect him when he is a boy. Yes.
Let's also not forget that the people that actually, I feel like the more reason why even the women rights movements came up, as which led to the girl child empowerment, has to do with the abuse of power that also ultimately came from the man.
What ended up happening is I don't like the narrative where everybody just assumes all men are abusive or all men were bad.
No, of course, we are not saying, we are not entirely saying that this whole thing.
See, that narrative right there is the reason the boy is overlooked.
No.
Because people just say, all men were bad. If all men were bad, who gave these women those rights?
Okay, so the rights were not just given to start with. The women had to fight for them.
Give me a scenario where women fought for their rights.
So in fighting, we are not just saying going physical, no. They had to put up rallies. I think this all started from 1843 all the way. So along all this way, there's been women who've been standing up. Remember, even the Elizabeth that I've talked about, when they started with that.
Was Stanton married?
Yes, she was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So who supported her movement?
No, the men eventually came up after voicing out. So it's not, let's not confuse the two things. So it's not like
wait, did her
entirely
stop her?
No.
There you go.
So
good man,
entirely,
right
babe, look, we are not entirely saying that men did not support, but let's also not put it like the men are the one who began the whole movement.
There's a question I like to ask. I know you're not a feminist, but there's a question I like to ask feminists because they always come up. And I say, okay, if a group of men stood up right now and said, we're going to grab all 10 of you feminists. If 10 men stood up and said, we're going to grab all of you 10 feminists and lock you in a room, what would the women do to stop that?
Nothing.
You understand, right? But however, those men are not allowed and will not be tolerated to do that. They will be stopped by who?
Okay, so if the men, if the women did not really begin to think.
No, I'm not saying that.
So let's give it both ways.
I'm countering the idea.
Let's give it to that's what I'm saying. Of course, it wouldn't have happened if there were no reasonable men that said, you know what, there's sense in what these women are saying. So they stood up and supported the women in that particular cause.
I'm hoping all those men were not gay.
They weren't. They were upright men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you can continue anyway.
Yeah, please. So now that you've defined the boy neglection, and in your explanation, I think I heard a bit about the impact that already that has brought. on the boy child as well as the survival of the society to start with. So maybe a little bit in detail. Let's begin with education. Which areas, maybe, when we look at education, is the boy child being left out?
Okay, see, how can I phrase this to make it palatable for everybody? First and foremost, we have no organizations that offer, how do I say this, that will offer scholarships for the boy child.
Okay.
Even if you say we go by quota,
Mm-hmm.
you find nowadays scholarships for the boy child are non-existent. There are literal lists where they will tell you to say, we want to send 50 people for this particular, to let's say maybe to University of Birmingham is being sponsored. You find it's going to be 40 girls, 10 boys. No more like that.
Okay.
And the problem is nobody really minds, nobody really cares. And what this has done is it has reduced the performance of that boy child. I'll give you a practical example. Let's say two high schoolers, both 15 years old, right? The boy impregnates the girl, right? There are 5,000 programs that will help the girl get back to school.
Yeah.
None for the boy. What will happen is even people like me will be like, you have to be responsible. Rarely are we going to say, you know what, we'll help you, I'll continue school. If that boy doesn't wake up and say, okay, you know what, I need to work harder and do this and do that and do that and go back to school, he will never go back to school. And there is nobody in that community who will say, wake up to school. Once you up on the it's your issue, deal with it.
There are very rare chances that happens, because what I know mostly is that when a boy impregnates a girl, of course the girl is, withdraws from school and so on.
That is
But the
biology
child,
and nature.
but
Yes.
the boy continues with school. They are
Not in the companies.
not in the companies. So
these examples that we are making, or rather, this conversation doesn't affect those people that are well to do. Just like anything else.
well, we of course we must put a balance, because everywhere these things are happening. There is boy child problem occurring, whether it's in the urban setup,
yes,
or it's in the rural setup.
Yes.
So of course, with what you are narrating, is mostly happening in the companies.
Yes.
But of course, in the urban setup,
areas,
it's
it's
better
easy, because they'll just say, okay, you go back to school, you and a dad.
Or the boy will just say no, and everything continues.
See that narrative right there. That narrative right there.
Is.
No.
That's what it is. We just say no, and everything continues.
However, to just add more, there are no academic programs for boys.
Yeah.
There are no mentorship program for boys. I and some colleagues have actually come together. We've gone to certain banks, I won't mention name, and the banks would ask us, okay, well, how do you want us to help you as part of corporate social responsibility? Would say, okay, we're trying to run a mentorship program for the boy child. Let these boys come in, even shadow if it's the finance manager, those who are, all these people, so they can have an example.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
The answer that we've been given is try to tailor it to the girl child, they need to be pushed. Like someone just tells you, I'll be honest with you, tailor this to the girl child, it will be pushed. If you tailor it to the boy child, it will be very hard to get approval. And I'm like, but they are kids at the end of the day. You understand?
I think just to add on, the other areas that I've seen in terms of education is how we are speaking so highly of gender equality.
Yes.
Okay. But when it comes to, we are preaching gender equality, therefore everything should be equal. The other example is the distribution of, is it cutoff points?
Yes.
So you find that there's cutoff points for girls and cutoff points for boys. The boys is usually higher. So those who have not made up to that cutoff point are left behind. But since the girls are lower, they are able to enroll quite a lot.
A lot. And then when the news comes out, the boys are failing so much.
The girls have gone up in terms of performance.
And that is on top of the boy child having no support at all. I was that boy.
Okay.
You understand? And I remember where we grew up in the Congo building, because I support the issue of like special classes.
Okay.
My grades were fantastic, but I was simply removed of that class because I was a boy. You understand?
Mm.
And now if you grew up the way some of us grew up, it's easy. You are coming from the hood where education is not the priority. It's easy for you to just feel like, no, but it literally happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like at this point, I give credit to one woman when I was in grade 7 who changed my life.
Okay.
And I normally attribute this to the lack of mentorship, especially for the boy child. You girls, you have the when women lead, when Shashani lead. Have you ever heard when men
And
lead?
there are so many things that are girl child.
Yes.
Women in engineering.
Yes.
Girl Up Zambia. When women lead, but there's nothing to do with men lead. What lead?
Nothing.
Well, maybe it's because you've been leading forever.
We built this world that you are seated comfortably there in a
Well,
nice
don't put it like we built. We gave birth to you, therefore you are able to build. So let's say we built together. No, that's something that we get around. I'm not bad.
You know we can also counter that, right? And this conversation will just become weird if we count it. But that's my point. And this I attribute to mentorship. There's one woman in grade 7 who changed my life, Mrs. Wupe. May wherever she is, God continue blessing her. And this is pertaining to mentorship. The way that I grew up, we had uncles, but uncles were also some. I think most of them were out of town, so they would check on us. What. But we grew up like literally by ourselves.
Wow.
So I had an uncle who went to a school called Kakoso Basic School. It's a school anyway.
It's a survivable school.
It's a school. But at that point, I had never seen a grade 8 in the family, because by the time I was coming to writing grade 7, all of my uncles finished maybe 10 years or 15 years ago. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
So I have this other one who's almost my age, mate. That's the only one I know.
Oh, wow.
So when we're feeding in Padiatore Mana grade 7, back in the day we used to use a pencil to feed in the school you want to go to. I write Kakoso Basic School. Mrs. Wupe comes and sees this. So she says, you can't go to that school.
Okay.
And at first I thought, oh, what have I done wrong? Is this school that much better?
She
tells me, no. You can't go to that school. You are way too intelligent to go to that school. Rub that off. So I rubbed it off. So
women are there.
Yeah, that woman, up to now, I can tell you this. That woman changed. I believe from that point, she changed my life. Then she tells me, right, Mitondo Secondary School. I had no idea what this school was. I had no idea where this even school was. Turns out it's the best school in town. You understand? I didn't even know that this school existed. But she tells me, right, it's the only up, like those schools that up and down, like it's the only upstairs school.
Oh, wow.
It's built in the mine area, like it was built for the white kids and whatnot. So it carried that curriculum. So I changed. I write. When the results came out, I was number 2 in that school.
Oh, wow.
And I just went, oh, huh. You know, when you go to a school, you tell people in the community here, oh, you went to that school, like, yeah, that's the school you went to. And everybody shocked, surprised. And I'm like, okay. I guess the school is a big deal. But if that teacher, Mrs. Wupe, may God bless her wherever she is, didn't tell me to say, remove this, I would have never known, because there was nobody to mentor me. I had no big examples. That's why I'm really into this issue of mentoring, and I try to help as many young men as I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, we've established that most of the activities that are occurring, such as mentorship, we've got re-entry policies, especially for girls that maybe for pregnant. We've got NGOs coming up with scholarships supporting the girl. There's sanitary programs. Everything is on the girl.
Yeah.
Anything else apart from education?
No, we can go as far as, like I mentioned, mentoring. We can even go as far as job opportunities, or
that too.
Tender opportunities, or project opportunities.
I see.
You understand?
Yeah.
There is nothing for the boy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because when it comes to especially job opportunities, there's always that when there's a girl, when there's a man and a woman competing for the same job, the likelihood of the man getting that job are slim,
even if you're qualified,
even if you are competent enough than the boy.
In fact, that has also happened to me before.
Okay.
You understand? I won't mention the company, but I'll just say they work in agriculture. So what ends up happening was Remember after the whole hospital thing?
Mm.
So I literally, like, I had no job. I was not working. I had nothing. I was like ground zero. In fact, ground zero is even better. Ground sub zero.
Negative something.
Negative something.
The
You know what I
negatives.
mean? We go for interviews. There was 4 dudes, myself included, and 1 girl. Okay. I went through all the 3 rounds of interviews because I prepared. I need this job. You know what I mean? You're like, I have to smash this.
Okay.
So I get in there, passed round 1. We remained. That same girl remained. Then there's 1 dude, 2 dudes, me and him. I go through the second round. The final round, I was qualified. I did well in the interview. Now the final round, it was me and her. But I was even sure because there were certain things that she was even asking me about. And they asked me about this. What is this? They asked me about this. What is this? So you know I'm that confident. Next thing I saw, this white man comes downstairs. And he says, I'm down here because I don't want you to feel some type of way. Here are your results. I was at 96% compatible for the company. And he tells me, you did better than everyone. You actually prepared, you researched this company, you researched the position and everything that you are required to do. And I said, okay. Then he says, but unfortunately, we're not going to pick you. And I came down here as the actual CEO so that you don't feel like you didn't do enough. You were the best. But we're going to pick the young lady because it's good for company specs.
Wow.
And I was like, you know why you feel demoralized? I didn't hate the girl. I just asked, okay, so did she qualify? Then he just straight up tells me, no, not really. But you know how these jobs
She did
are.
qualify, but not as compared to you.
Yes, she didn't pass through the interviews.
Yeah.
You understand?
I see.
But you know how it is. So I came down here to just tell you, you didn't fail. Okay, another opportunity will come. Do the same thing you did here. I will personally keep your CV. He was showing me a paper with the HR, the finance director, and the COO.
I see.
Because I was supposed to report to the finance director.
I see.
So he shows me they picked me. And I lost the job. And the irony is, 2 days later, the same girl called me. She had no idea how to do the job.
Wow.
So she started hiring me to help her do the job. You understand?
Wow.
And I just looked at it. At that point, my mind was, okay, I need to find something to do. I need to find something to do. So I really didn't bother because she would pay me. Oh, we finished talking. Okay, on the month end or maybe in 2 weeks, you see, she sends you something. But thank you for helping. In my mind, I'm just like, no wonder that dude came down to tell me, you have to understand. These things happen. Talk to most young men, especially if they are looking for jobs. We are skipped. Not because you're not qualified, but because of the systems that are there just to empower the girl.
Is this happening elsewhere apart from Zambia, Africa?
I think
Is this the same picture around the world?
I think at this point, with the exception of Muslim countries, because those guys don't believe in women's rights at all.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but majority of them anyway don't believe in that. But mostly, yes.
Okay. Okay.
You can go anywhere. Yes, which is what has led to now most males being useless.
Yeah.
And I always tell parents who have daughters to say, who do you think your daughters will marry?
Yeah, that's now the impact that is bringing to the society. Because with that very point that you've brought, you find that women are very highly qualified. They're holding all these positions, but getting very useless husbands.
Yes.
You know,
It's actually,
such that everything that they have to run in the home,
yes,
you know, they have to do it by themselves.
Because,
just to give birth for that sake. So this whole thing, I think, has to be relooked into properly, and policies set properly to help to balance up. Yes, the good cause of the girl child has been, of course, it maybe in some certain parts, such as the rural setups, probably in those areas they still need to help. But even there, let's help both ways, because the society is really declining. That takes me to another thought. Everybody seems to be quiet. Of course, there are few people who are coming to talk, but then the bigger players, the government, the people with the money, the people who run the world, seem to be a little bit quiet. Is there maybe something we are not seeing that probably there could be an agenda behind it? Because when it comes to the people that runs the world, I always attribute them to some evil kind of, trying to, yeah. So for me, I feel like maybe they are trying to destroy the whole family setup, because there is no society without a man. Let's just put it like that. So I feel like them being silent, blocking any other place where a boy child could get either employment or be it scholarships and so on. Could that be the case?
Okay, if we're going to enter the weird zone, here's what I'll say. The greatest thing that any ruler fears is not women. It's the amount of power that women can put in a man.
Okay.
Now, what do I mean? Well, women always have a special way of influencing men. That's why when Samson yadi ninjomba but kaderaida msho akadi akepi
Adam and Eve.
akafitala na Adamu ine same issue.
Who else? David also.
Yeah, because the reality is, remember the example I made, if 10 men say we're going to get these 10 women and lock them in the room, there's nothing that the women can do to stop that. Literally nothing. Who's going to stop those? It's other men.
I can fight.
You understand?
Yeah. Okay.
It's other men who stand a chance to stop that nonsense that those fools want to do or commit. Women can go march. Yeah, we are not happy about that. It's a nuisance. Everybody just be like, oh, that's adorable. If men go march, you send it because you know the amount of force that comes with men. So if we're going to go into the weird zone, I personally believe, I think we are in this era where we are neutering men. We are creating such soft men. That's why even suicides are high. That's why even all these, you have got these lazy, useless boys, drunkards, junkies, because we have slowly just, in fact, from a young age, this young useless generation, from a young age, whatever they see on the internet or on TV, it's, hey, men are useless. So they grow up with that. Romana, you might actually be right to say, we are in the weird zone right now. You may be right to assume. The whole idea is to destroy the whole family thing. And I think the problem is with the rise of these LGB 57 letters no one cares about, it has also come against the family unit. Don't get me wrong, there were genuinely good reasons why women empowerment came in. Things such as abarume bafwa, abarume fipu babaisa basende fiance, and they leave this woman with kids to start from scratch.
Abusive men as well.
Yes, abusive men. Those are good reasons to say, okay, let's make
empower
sure
this
ngabaisaba bafaya mafriji no tulimba ekeni basende. This woman will say, you know what, fine. In fact, you know what I mean? The woman can easily go where she want to go, and she'll be able to take care of the children. So there were very, very valid reasons for girl empowerment. But what has happened is that this process has gone into the absurd scenes now, where the boy is thrown out and the boy is ignored. There is a crisis in Kenya right now. Kenyan women don't want to get married to Kenyan men.
Okay.
Do you know why? Kenyan women, highly educated. Kenyan men, rarely educated.
Isn't that the case in Botswana also?
Exactly.
Yeah, they are very, very, very useless men in Botswana.
You understand? So
yes.
It's not...
like they've become lazy. They are not even trying. They don't even want. Let's not even talk about South Africa. Yeah. Do you have an idea of what could be done to help
what
the
we
boy
need to
child?
start with is on a statutory level, first and foremost. It is clear there is no institution that's going to support a boys program. Prove me wrong. This guy who's saying Bill Zimmer 2064, he said the same thing to the point where he said, what we'll do to start all these programs, which I actually want to be a part of. I'm so eager to be a part of this. He said, we'll ask the people who are coming. He said, just give us 100 kwacha. Because we know nobody will fund this activity because it's towards boys. So where we start with is on a statutory level. The Zambian government.
I would love to interject on the statutory level. I feel like, just like the Build Zambia 2064, what they've done is that they are now coming up to just talk. So they are talking on this platform, they're organizing talking platforms. And this is, I'm saying so, I'm looking at the background of how the women's rights movements came up. People just began talking. People,
like we are talking now.
Yes. So I think it all begins from that. Then when the people feels that force and the wave of people talking about it, and this should be also be accompanied by women. You know, I'm here talking already, so that should. I am here. I'm already talking, and there are a lot of women that are actually talking.
Yeah.
There's this channel on YouTube called TVC. So there was just a discussion on that particular platform where women were just talking about, you know, trying to help and voice out. Because you know what? We women, those are our children.
And
so if your child is not, you know, it impacts us more, I feel, more than the man himself.
And that's the only time you hear women stand against a girl power rules. There is one lady that we do business with. Brilliant son, intelligent boy. Massacres grade 7, massacres grade 9. Guess what happens? There is no space for him to go with his beautiful grades to any school.
Wow.
They had to send him somewhere in Chipata because all the schools here were, no, the spaces we are reserving some spaces just for girls. So all the boys' quota is filled. Boy is brilliant. And the woman complained to say, you know what? I am starting to see a problem with this. And I laughed at her and I said, because you are affected.
Yeah.
Someone you love is affected. Now you see it. If we just walked up to tell you this is a problem, you would have said, no, it's not a problem. Well,
that is also one way of helping. If somebody is affected by the situation, obviously them coming up because they are affected could be a reason enough to begin. For me, I'm also, it is a hypocritical, but then it works.
It works, but it's very hypocritical because you gave a deaf ear to all those who told you this is going to be a problem.
Well, eventually to help in some way. I think due to time, so this was not all about, as he has mentioned. I don't know if first of all you've got anything to say, because this comes to the conclusion.
No, for me, what I would just like to say is two things. Number one, we need statutes that support the boy.
Oh yeah, we were on that before I interrupted.
I was that boy.
Yeah.
So this to me is an issue that is very dear to me.
Yeah.
I have experienced it like literally from grade 7.
Okay.
You know, you go into college, you experience it. You finish university, you're trying to look for a job, you experience it. I have experienced this, I'll call it boy racism. Okay? So first and foremost, we need statutes that support the boy. We just amended the law that literally says if anybody accuses a boy, now the cops just pick you up non-bailable against the boy. Those are laws against the boy. Okay? So we need statutes that support the boy. And we need government programs. Okay? Government programs. Mandatory. You say mandatory, maybe I'll give an example. Mandatory wrestling practices for the boy. And I would add on to say, everyone who finishes high school, mandatory military training.
That helps, I think.
Teaches them discipline. We can start from there. These bodies,
and that's how it was in the time of Kaunda, isn't it? My father's going through that particular
NGOs
training.
That don't want to support us, they can go wherever they want to go. This is a man's world. We built everything for the women because we love them and are supposed to take care of them. But statutes, platform, the government, for example, wrestling, and a mandatory military training. You just finish high school. You go 1 year. Okay? Not appointments, no. Or recruitment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We do that, we have a starting point. and almost everybody should be talking about this.
Yeah.
Secondly, I predict in the next 10 years, the young women are going to have a crisis of finding a good husband.
Yes, there is already that actually.
Because
even 10 years seems to be far.
Yeah,
Let's just talk of 5 years from now.
I'm telling you, it's going to be bad.
Mm.
It's going to be bad where I think it will reach a point where young ladies will be knowing that man is married to that one, but it's fine because he has the qualities of what a man should be. So I will risk it and be the second one. I'm telling you, because the boy child has been neglected. And then this will just deteriorate society all the way down to like zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think with those remarks, we should be concluding. So the whole instance of this particular discussion was not really to say girl child empowerment is a bad thing.
No, it's not.
It's not. That program came for a great cause that has helped myself, which has helped many girls, which has helped our mothers and so on.
Except me and people who are me.
Okay, I'm talking about the girl child program. So it has really, really helped, but along the way, people really forgot about the other half of that particular program, which is the boy child.
Yep.
So hence us beginning to talk about it. It all begins with talking. I think already people are talking. Others began as far back as 2009, 2019. Across the world, I've seen across Africa, people are already talking, and it begins from there. So I think let's rally behind this, because I myself, I am worried about the kind of man that my girl child, would get married to in the near future. So let's try to support this great cause, because we have brothers and sisters as women. I think let's support the men as well, as they did back then, because as you already stated, even if the women came up, stood up and began speaking, but it took some men who made sense of what the women were really stating and gave them a helping hand. And at this point, they are the ones in that particular part with the need to help them out. So this has been the QM Files. Please, we are just requesting that you subscribe to our channel. It kind of helps us to improve in the content that we are bringing, and of course it kind of helps us grow.
Mutundu weSwati twalombako mume kalaka like kaka subscribe.
Yes,
Then mwalanda nepo twinga
yes, anything that you yes.
Yai mafiga fine. We continue that way.
Mkwai.
A program.